Okay, so we've been telling you about that ground beef recall for E. coli.
But it's not the news we want to hear ahead of the Memorial Day weekend, right? It proves the food you buy for your family could actually make them sick. The number of foodborne illness outbreaks across the country is actually on the rise. In fact, 1 in 6 people will get sick this year.
Yeah, so in this News 5 original, Jay Jarvis explains how you can help keep your family safe from tainted food.
Last year, Casey Tobick got the news no mother ever wants to hear. Her 2-year-old daughter, Eden, poisoned by the home they just moved into a few months before.
There were a lot of sources of lead dust, and because she was a toddler, she was crawling around on the ground and putting her hands in the lead dust and then putting those hands in her mouth, and she got pretty severely poisoned from that.
Now, Tobick says she's hyper aware of anything that could harm Eden or her 5-year-old brother Asa, including the food they eat.
I learned more about the dangers that can potentially come from things like fresh produce and raw meat.
And there's good reason to worry. The CDC says 120 Americans were killed last year and 25,000 others got sick from foodborne illness. Recent outbreaks of salmonella in pre-cut melons and E. coli in ground beef made dozens of people in Ohio sick.
Nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal cramping, and fever are your primary symptoms of a foodborne illness.
Registered dietitian Kelly Santiago says there are foods that are more high risk.
Raw and undercooked beef, poultry, fish, veal, lamb, so those types of things. Unpasteurized milk, unpasteurized dairy.
But because it's not just one type of food that's affected, hand washing and safe handling practices are key.
Using a different cutting board, also making sure that your plates are washed, that your utensils are washed, that you're not reusing utensils, that you're not reusing plates. Or serving plates that have previously touched raw meat.
And purchasing food from places you can trust and are easily traceable.
We've started sourcing a lot of our food from local farmers.
Tobick says her family has a strong habit of hand washing and she's developed a routine around food preparation to make sure everything stays safe. But she says she's still frustrated with all of the outbreaks.
It seems like after it happens, we have all of these resources to trace it back and find out the source and, really nail down how it happened. And, I feel like if we can do that, wouldn't it be less expensive and more effective to do it on the front end?
Jay Jarvis, News 5.